Photography is a lot more than cameras and lenses. It is about discovering how you see the world. It is about finding beauty in the ordinary, telling stories that matter, and ultimately understanding yourself a little better with every frame you capture. If you're just beginning this journey, know that it's not about perfection. It's about progress, passion, and perspective. If I were just starting my photography journey in 2025, I wouldn't focus on gear or technique, but I would start with intention, because photography at its core isn't just about capturing random moments, it's about discovering how we see the world and what stories we want to tell. When I first picked up a camera as a grown man back in 2014, I had no idea where it's going to take me. I stumbled through phases, chasing the best gear, mimicking photographers I admired, or wondering why my photos didn't feel right. It took me years to realize that the real journey of photography is as much inward as it is outward. So if I could start over today, I would focus less on perfection and more on purpose. And that begins with one simple question: why do I want to take photos? Is photography just a hobby, a creative outlet? Or am I dreaming of turning it into something more? A side hustle, a career, or a way to connect with the world? If you're following along with this thought process, know that there is no right answer. But having clarity with your why can shape everything. The way we shoot, the stories we want to tell, and the growth we will experience along the way. Once I found my why, the next step was to explore, not just with my camera, but also with my mind. Try everything: portrait, street, landscape, macro, whatever piqued my curiosity. My journey started with astrophotography, drawn by the quiet wonder of the night sky. That curiosity led me to landscapes, and from there I found my passion in street photography, capturing the fleeting moments of everyday life. Each shift wasn't just about photography, it reflected how I was growing as a person, learning what resonated with me and what didn't at a certain time. If you're enjoying this video so far, hit the like button and consider subscribing with a bell. Finding your niche in photography is a lot like finding yourself. I would start by looking inwards at my life. What is it that excites me? Is it the rush of skateboarding? Or is it the serenity of mountain hikes? Or maybe the pulse of the streets? For me, at least initially, it was traveling and urban exploration, the stories hidden in plain sight. So it is important to let your passions guide your photography, because this way you will naturally find a style that will be authentic to you. One realization, although counterintuitive, that truly helped me to grow was to stop chasing learning one technique after the other without a purpose. Instead, I sought out inspiration, and I found it in the works of Saul Leiter, Alex Webb, Fred Herzog, and many others. Their images weren't just technically brilliant, they actually felt like something. They taught me that photography isn't about replicating reality, but explicating it through my own unique perspective. So learn from the masters, but don't lose yourself in imitation. Use their work as inspiration to find your own creative voice. Of course, growth isn't just about shooting, it's also about learning. So books and workshops can be transformative. If there is a photographer that you admire out there, take their workshop and learn from their process. Two books that I truly found useful and they helped my street photography was Think Like a Street Photographer by Matt Stewart and Find Your Frame by Craig Whitehead. Because they are not just technical manuals, they are guides to seeing differently and approaching the world with curiosity and intention. After I would answer my whys and got into the path of growth, I would then start thinking about my hows. How can I achieve what I want to achieve? What tools do I need? When you're starting out, it's easy to think that the perfect camera would unlock your potential. But the truth, the best camera is the one you actually feel comfortable using. That is why I moved from bigger cameras like the Sony a7 III to smaller cameras like the Fuji X-T5 and of course the Ricoh GR3. Because these are cameras that I can easily carry with me everywhere and they can naturally become the extension of my hand. Especially when those Fuji cameras can be paired with small primes like the Fuji 35mm f1.4 or the Fuji 50mm f2. A kit that is very powerful and yet approachable. The key is to know your gear. So I would start with a 50mm prime, I would stick with it until I truly understood its limitations and its strengths, and then I would switch to longer or wider focal lengths. And I wouldn't just try to master them technically, I would try to understand how each lens can change my perspective and the stories I can tell. But gear is just the beginning. The real growth happens when you train your eye. So I would slow down and observe. I would try to notice how light falls on a face, how shadows form shapes into the streets, and how the colors change throughout the day. Photography teaches you mindfulness. It urges you to be present and appreciate the beauty in the mundane. So here are some of the things that I pay attention to when I'm out in the streets, to give you an idea of all of the different things that could inspire you to create your own masterpieces. Harsh light can surprisingly be a boon for stunning images. When working with harsh sunlight, my focus shifts to the shadows that form shapes that help me frame my subjects. Take for instance this shot where the entire restaurant is beautifully enclosed within the triangular play of light. On overcast rainy days, chasing high contrast images might not be the most fruitful thing to do. Instead, I opt for longer lenses and get up close to individuals, isolating them within the frame. During these conditions, it's all about embracing the moodiness and weaving a narrative based on the subjects and the unique environment they find themselves in. Fog is my go-to magic ingredient. Its ability to infuse depth into photos even in seemingly flat environments is simply unparalleled. Beyond that, fog adds a captivating mood to the images and effortlessly enhances subject isolation. When it comes to night photography, I love paying attention to the artificial lights that are surrounding me. Particularly when lights are in motion opposite to your subject, they add the captivating rim light effect. Additionally, I'm a big fan of incorporating reflections, introducing intriguing abstract elements that elevate the overall aesthetics of my images. To capture moments like this, understanding your exposure triangle is crucial. If you are not familiar with it, I've linked some videos below, but we're going to have a dedicated video on this very soon. And while you're on your path to growth, consider sharing your journey with a community. Consider social media, but approach them with the right mindset. In 2025, short-form videos reign supreme. It's not enough to just post single photos, people want to see the behind the scenes, how your photos were made. Share your creative process, your struggles and your breakthroughs. That's what motivates me to even bother with social media. I want to see people's work and be inspired by them, as I want to share mine and inspire others to enjoy photography more. Use social media to grow bigger, not smaller. So if you're just in the beginning, or even if you're in this path for a while, remember, photography is more than just perfect photos. It's about seeing the world more deeply, understanding yourself more fully, and seeing the joy in the small moments that others might overlook. Now I'm really interested to hear how you got into photography. What made you to pick up a camera in the first place? Let me know below. If you want to see how I mastered the 50mm focal length and how it completely changed how I approach photography, click and watch this video next. That was all for today guys, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I will see you on the streets. Bye bye.